day 3, and this is the race of the week. It's the race of the year. It's the race of the decade, in my opinion, because I cannot wait to see Bob Olinger against Gallopin Deschamps. Long Press is in there at 7-2. Brave Man's Game is likely to go for the other race, 9-2. Blue Lord the same. Riviere de Tell the same. And Jungle Boogie is 10-1. Could you up here? 11-1 bar. Dan, with FansBet, who is the more popular with punters, Bob Olinger or Gallopin Deschamps?
Bob Olinger is the worst result currently, and if want to compile those miseries, then Bob Olinger and Brandy Love to win the Mares Novice. It'll be 6-1, boosted to 15-2, and with Eligorida Vassie out, that might appeal to some as a big
15-2, 7.5 to 1 for Brandy Love and Bob Olinger. Are you a Bob fan?
Yeah. I thought he got, again, like his jumping last time I thought was very good. There's only one fence I thought he was a bit careful at, and everything else I thought he winged or was very adequate at. It was a very accomplished performance. I like that he had a bit of a race that day as well. Like he had to find to beat Capodanno, but once he eventually got into his stride, he put it to bed very quickly. I think over this 2.5 trip, obviously just on the short side of 2.5, I think he might have the extra gear that Gallopin Deschamps might not have. And we know from the Ballymore he's a top class horse. I think over this trip he might have the edge.
Diarmuid, these two are dead.
Yeah, it's class, and it's just like the kind of champion chase. It's just really great when there's two horses going head to head like this. Gallopin Deschamps is kind of he jumps big and bold, and he looks to me like a stayer, which is obviously very interesting going back a trip. And then Bob Olinger, for me, maybe hasn't set the world alight with jumping. I don't have as much of a problem with jumping as others do. I really don't. What Gordon Elliott said yesterday in the Racing Post, I think I read it there, that he happened to see him schooling a few days ago, and he said it was absolutely awesome.
Bob Olinger.
For him to speak out of turn about Bob Olinger is just, it's obviously noteworthy. Like, it's just strange that Gordon Elliott would, he go out of his way to mention that horse. His jumping needs to improve a bit, but like, it has to be remembered that Bob Olinger was doing his winning while Henry de Brahman's horses were, down. So like, he might have been 95%, but 95% to him is still absolutely awesome. I just would have a concern for Gallopin Deschamps in that when it comes, just like Dan said there, when they turn the final bend, you'd nearly picture a small bit like Brave Man's Game, where Gallopin Deschamps could just be left standing still by the speed of Bob Olinger. That's all. I think we have two absolute freaks. If either of them have a chink in their armour, they're going to. I'm happy enough to kind of avoid this race from a betting point of view. But if I did have to back one, or if somehow he drifted, I think it'll take a lot to beat Bob Olinger.
Okay, so we have two Bobs so far. Dean, Ryan, are you going to make it 3 out of 3 for Bob Olinger?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, whichever race Gallopin Deschamps goes, I think he gets beat. So Brave Man's Game beat him in the Brown Advisory. I think Bob Olinger will beat him in the Turner's Novices. It's just too much speed, and what he did in the Ballymore last year, like I referenced before, broke a couple of very good horses' hearts. He's that good. But the one argument you might have is that he's slightly undercooked. But if Gordon's talking about him schooling away and he's seen him, then I wouldn't have any worries. Henry is coming right back into form. Even money's probably a fair price, to be honest. I think he's that good. I think Bob Olinger will win. And Gallopin Deschamps may go on and be the Gold Cup horse that we all think he is, and maybe Bob won't get that far. But I think Bob will win the Turners.
So 3 votes for Bob Olinger. Donn McClean, are you going to make it 4? 4?
Yeah. I know, I just think this is his race for his Gallopin Deschamps. I think he'd probably be better over further in time anyway. And Bob Olinger, like everything he did last year was brilliant here, or Cheltenham included. He's probably not as slick a jumper as Gallopin Deschamps, but I think the engine that he has will make up for that. This is his trip. He's proven at the track. After his run the last day, Henry said, I've seen enough now, put him away. He was toying with the idea of giving him another run, I think, but he said he was happy enough to go to Cheltenham, and he's probably going to improve significantly from that, because that's the way Henry de Brahman trains his horses. And yeah, I agree with you that this is going to be the race of the week and the race of the year. Like to have these two lining up against each other, like Gallopin Deschamps, he's a phenomenal horse, and his jumping is superb, and all his runs this season have been over this trip. So you can see why he's going for the race, and it sets up a hell of a clash. I was thinking San Sam after the run the last day behind Riviere de Tell and Blue Lord. I thought he might improve for stepping up in trip, and that this might be his race, but it's turned into a red. And I know he's probably going to run to the Arkle anyway, but it's turned into a red hot race. I think San Sam is an interesting horse, but these two are these are the A-listers.
Mikey, these two running against each other. It's like you sitting there tonight and having Jennifer Lopez one side and maybe Jennifer Aniston the other side, is it?
No. No.
They're sexy.
Oh yeah. Oh sorry. Yeah, I thought to pick one. Yeah, no, I know which one I'd pick. Bob Ollinger. Yeah.
Would you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I never saw a horse work. He worked at Monk's Grange there.
That's the same day Gordon's talking about, yeah.
Right. And
No, I think he worked in Navan as well.
it was over fences in Navan, but this is before I think. This is maybe November, December time, and you know Henry brings down a lot down there, and I never seen David Roach run. If a jockey at the end, this is 2 mile schooling bumper. If the reins broke, he would have fell out over his tail. He was going that hard, and he's a spectacular horse, and I think he's a certainty. Yeah.
5 votes in a row for Bob Ollinger. You going to complete the full house, David?
100%. But Mikey, why would you go there with Galloping Deschamps then?
Because it's the right race for that horse at this moment in his career. And Willie Mullins
Well, it's the
does that.
exact reason he never ran Quevega in a championship race and kept running her in the mares, because it was the most winnable race.
How do you
And you
know?
just said
How do you
Bob
know?
Ollinger
How do
was-
you know Willie Mullins thought Vega was ever good enough to win a champion hurdle?
Or is theirs hard?
He sure she probably wasn't.
It didn't matter. It would go for the race she'd won, or she'd win.
They're the best of friends, really.
No, but that's not like with like this horse. You try to tell me 16-3 and he's not, right? And this is the right
Lad,
race.
size doesn't matter. That's what he told me anyway. Size doesn't matter.
Bob Ollinger is a good thing. I don't even think the rest of them will run it. Well, nothing on this sheet. I don't think will run it. I don't think so.
You still think Gallopin will go for the...
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah, I
either.
wouldn't be surprised.
So we have a full house, 6 out of 6. Yeah, the 60 is there. 6 out of 6 for Bob Ollinger in the Turners. Let's bring the crowd in. Hands up if you fancy Bob Ollinger. Oh, I can't believe this.
On that, boys.
And hands up if you fancy Gallopin Deschamps. Whoa, it's a kind of a 9/10, 1/10 split of the audience here. It's all about Bob Ollinger. A lot of love for Bob Ollinger in the Turners. Novices Chase. It's going to be a cracker if Bob Ollinger runs against Gallopin Deschamps. Moving on to the next grade one
sorry,
of the day.
David, just a question for the lads. Like, do you think that
It's
Willie
all right,
thinks...
Don. Do you want to present?
Willie might.
I know with racing TV you wear a pundit and now you're presenting on your own sometimes. But
This is a relevant question.
go on, I'm only messing. I was
I was
joking.
hoping you'd ask.
No, I was joking. Go on. Go for it, Don. Take it away. Just make a good job of it.
Right, okay. Do you think that Willie thinks that Gallopin Deschamps has a better chance of beating Bob Ollinger here than he has of winning the 3 mile race, though?
You can be mad at times, but can't be that mad.
No, I think he's doing the right thing for the horse. I think that he's afraid Brave. He won't stay the 3 mile. It'll be a very tough race in other fences.
You go around with his head in his chest and it's beating Brave Man's game.
I'm completely with David here. I have to
Yeah,
say.
no, that's what I think as well.
His
You're
heart broke
talking
beating
about one
Bob
of
Ollinger.
all-time great trainers. Why isn't he doing that then?
I don't know. I think he will.
Maybe he will.
Winners of you train.
I think he will.
Is he?
He's not going to do that.
Tell me this.
No way.
will.
What does he gain by saying that there the other day? Like, no reason.
Tell me this. Is he a big horse, Gallopin Deschamps? Anyway, moving swiftly on.